I cannot continue my re-election campaign.
A video filmed on the steps of Gracie Mansion scored to Sinatra's My Way, framed by a photograph of his late mother. Eric Adams ended his bid for a second term as the mayor of New York City with some flair. But for all the theatrics of his farewell, the message was plain. His political capital is spent.
The significance of Adams dropping out of the race, does this surprise you?
You know, it is something that has been rumored for quite some time, that this would be the month, this would be the week, this would be the day, and today we've finally seen it.
I applaud his selflessness. You know, we often wonder, is it about us or is it about a greater calling? And I think what Mayor Adams said today speaks volumes.
Eric Adams' departure from the 2025 mayoral race leaves a far simpler and far more telling ballot, not just in candidates, but in ideas. The contest now is squarely between Zohran Mamdani, the 33-year-old progressive democratic socialist, and Andrew Cuomo, a political insider determined to make a comeback. For New York's voters, the stakes are already high. For the rest of the world, and especially India, this race has become a window into global political tectonics, identity populism, governance, and what people expect from those in power. Notably, Adams declined to endorse a successor. Instead, he issued a veiled warning against, quote, those who claim the answer is to destroy the very system we built together. The jab was aimed squarely at Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani. Mamdani represents a wave of candidates globally who are challenging the old order. Inequality, housing crisis, climate anxiety, and a perception that politics is rigged toward elites. In India too, there have been growing expectations for leaders who are not simply technocrats, but who speak directly to the struggles of ordinary people, rising costs, inequitable access to public services, and corruption. Mamdani's platform, free buses, rent freezes, affordable child care, echoes many demands in Indian cities for affordable transport, housing, and social safety nets. Cuomo, by contrast, stands for stability, experience, and a known brand. His challenge is to make voters believe that incrementalism can still solve big problems. That's a familiar choice in many democracies. Do you gamble on radical change, or do you lean on what has worked, or at least what is familiar? The importance of identity. So Mamdani is an Indian origin, son of filmmaker Meera Nair, Muslim, young, all traits that matter. His rise shows that identity politics isn't just about who you are, but about what people believe you represent. Representation matters globally. In India, in many parts of the world, voters are asking for leadership that reflects the diversity of the electorate. Mamdani becoming mayor could mark a symbolic shift, much as it would be if he becomes New York City's first Muslim or Indian American mayor. For observers in India and elsewhere, here's what to watch and what it may signify. Populism with a progressive edge. Mamdani's campaign doesn't simply promise populist rhetoric, it promises policies. And that's important in places where populism often devolves into vague sloganeering. His ability to translate outrage into concrete plans could serve as a model or warning elsewhere. The role of money, media, and elites. A recurring theme. Who backs whom and how money flows into campaigns. Cuomo has been able to draw endorsements and funding from established interests. Mamdani has had to rely more on grassroots energy, social media engagement, and small donors. India already has teething problems with campaign finance transparency. This race reinforces why money matters and why many voters distrust establishment candidates who seem to serve wealthy interests only. Generation, youth, and mobilization. Young people globally want more say. Mamdani has energized younger voters, many first-time or marginal voters. In India too, the vote of the youth, often apathetic, is turning more crucial. The question, Can Mamdani keep up the momentum? Can Cuomo peel away enough of the moderate base? The same questions often come up in Indian elections as well. Can a young leader break through entrenched party machines and appeal across generations? Governance versus promise. While many progressive candidates win on promises, governing is harder. Voters will ask, can Mamdani deliver free buses and rent freezes without breaking the city's budget? Can Cuomo convince voters he has learned from past mistakes? That tension between promise and deliverability is universal. In Indian politics, similar tensions exist whenever leaders promise big welfare programs or subsidies. The difference often lies not only in policy, but transparency, credibility, and institutional capacity. Diaspora and soft power. Mamdani's Indian origins mean his race is closely watched in India. Success may feed into how Indians abroad see representation in Western politics, particularly America and its growing crackdown on immigrants. Policy lessons. Things like free buses or rent freezes are not purely symbolic. They signal that local governance can prioritize daily life in tangible ways. In Indian cities with severe transport congestion, rising rents and strained public services, watching experiments abroad can inspire adaptations or cautionary tales. Democratic identity and polarization. Globally, many democracies are polarized. Progressive versus conservative, change versus status quo, free market versus social safety net. The Mamdani-Cuomo battle is a microcosm of these divides. What happens in New York in terms of messaging, voter behavior, media framing reverberates through contributed commentary, think tank analyses, social media. If Mamdani wins, it would be a strong victory for progressive politics and could embolden similar agendas elsewhere. It could show that even in expensive global cities, left-wing, people-first policies can be politically viable. If Cuomo pulls it off, it could signal a retrenchment, that voters in large, diverse cities favor experience, caution, and centrist compromise. That might dampen momentum for radical progressive movements elsewhere or force them to recalibrate. Independent of the outcome, the closeness of this race, how sharply the race tightens or not, will tell us about how willing electorates are to embrace change or how much structure, institutional, financial, party-based, still favors the old guard. For India, the Mamdani versus Cuomo duel is more than distant politics. It's a mirror of identity, of class, generational hope, and the pressures of urban living. It suggests that even in global metropolises, voters are increasingly seeking something different, perhaps bold, perhaps risky, but authentic. And as citizens anywhere, we might ask, what would it take for an Indian Zohran Mamdani, someone outside the traditional power center, representing a new generation, to win in, say, Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore? What systems need to change? Campaign, finance, media framing, public mobilization, social safety nets for that to be possible. Because whether Mamdani wins or not, his challenge has already moved the conversation, and that matters globally.